Hi guys, it's Elizabeth Lyons, and I thought I would give a quick tutorial on how I prepare metal pipes to make lamps. People keep asking me how I do that and how you can make the pipes a different finish from the way that they come to you from the home improvement store, and it's super simple. So I thought I would just let you know how to do it. First of all, you're going to start with a bucket that says, let's do this, because why not? It's very inspirational. Gloves, which I typically wear for everything except cleaning. And then you're going to need this great stuff called trisodium phosphate, or TSP. If you want to sound really cool when you go to the home improvement store, just ask for TSP, because if you ask for trisodium phosphate, they'll be like, oh, TSP. And you're like, yeah, sure. Okay, so here is a box of TSP. You can get it in a liquid, you can get a bigger box. A little goes a really long way, so I just get this. It's like $5 or $6. And then I put about 2 gallons of water in my bucket and about half a cup of water. So, oh my God. Half a cup of TSP. So this is a 1/4 cup measurer, in case people are wondering why I'm putting 2 of them in there. 1/4 and 1/4 is a half. So, put on your gloves and just kind of stir it up and get it dissolved, which happens very quickly. So your pipes, when you buy your steel pipe, many times they will come with a price tag on it, like a price sticker. So you'll want to use something to get that off. You can use any kind of like a putty knife, or I just kind of peel them off sometimes with my fingers. Super smart. And I gave up on manicures a long time ago. And then you want to use like a Goo Gone to get off any of the sticky residue that's on the pipe. Then what you'll do is you'll take your pipes. So I've done a little bit here that I'll show you in a second, but I'm making a swing arm lamp and a paper towel holder for a company in Denver. Super excited about that. And they want a matte black finish. So I started with the black pipe, but it probably wouldn't matter, to be honest, since I'm going to spray them. And yes, I'm doing this with a white shirt. And yesterday I sprayed the pipe for the lamp, and I did that in white pants, because I like to live on the edge. Super fun. And then what you're also going to need is one of these little green scrubby things. So you only need to let your pipe sit in here for a couple minutes, like 2 minutes or so. And that'll dissolve all of the oils that are on the pipe. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to take it out and use your little scrubby thing to scrub. Be careful when you're doing the threads, because the threads are sharper than you would think. And if you run your finger over them and you don't have a glove on and you miss the sponge, it's going to hurt. Probably going to bleed. So you just do that, and then you're going to rinse them off, and you're good to go. You'll let them dry. You want to dry. I usually dry everything off with a towel because it's steel, so it will rust. So I like to get it really super dry as I can, and then I start spray painting. And for this, I'm just using a Rust-Oleum flat black spray paint. And then when I'm finished, I will use the Krylon low odor matte sealer. And I think it should be noted that I had to be escorted to the front of Joann's with this, because they wanted to make sure I wasn't going to inhale it like in the store. I don't know what the world's coming to, but there you go. I don't know. I needed an escort. Super. At least I wasn't carded. Although nowadays, you know, when you get to a certain age, you like want to be carded. It's like, don't you want to make sure that I'm not 16? Come on. All right, so now that everything is clean and dry, we're going to go ahead and spray it. And yeah, I'm doing this in white pants too, because it's Thursday, and why not? Okay guys, we're back, and it's time to wire the lamp. So I thought I would give a quick tutorial on how to do that. It is extremely simple, but there are a few really important rules to follow for safety. So in this case, I'm using this black twisted cotton covered wire, which I love. It has a super vintagey look, and the twisted wire just is a little added design element that I think looks pretty cool with these lights. And I've sprayed all of my pipe with a matte black finish after I had prepped it with a TSP. And then I covered it with 3 or 4 coats of a matte sealant. And that way this finish is going nowhere. So I've got my twisted wire, and the first thing that you want to do is identify which of your wires is hot and which is neutral. So you want to check with the specific vendor from whom you get your wire, because they all seem to mark their wires differently. One thing you can usually count on, and the operative word there being usually, is that black is hot. So a wire covered in black tubing is typically hot. In this case, that is true, and the one covered in black is hot, and then there's one that's black and gray striped, and that one's neutral. So what I'll do is I'll peel back my my fabric, and then use my wire strippers here to take off about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. It's not an exact science, but of the cover, and that reveals your wire underneath. And then what I do is I twist that up. I twist up those copper wires just so that they're all together and they're not frayed out at all. And then you have your socket. So sockets come apart. This one just snaps apart like this. So here you have your top, and here you have the innards, and here's the bottom. So on this socket, you have 2 screws. Brass is hot and silver is not. So you want to make sure that your hot cord is attached to your hot screw, because if you don't, when you plug it in, you can get shocked. It's a fire hazard. All kinds of things are not great about that. So one of the 2 things that people forget, including myself sometimes when they're wiring, is that before you attach your wires to your socket, you need to feed your wires through the top part of your socket. Okay, so you're gonna feed, this is the top part, here are your wires. You're gonna poke it through there. I continue to just twist it back up again. This is something else that people sometimes forget. And when you have frayed little frays here, like this one you can see, sometimes, especially when you have a twisted wire, what works awesome is to get some electrical tape. In this case, black works great because I'm using a black wire. Usually through different suppliers, you can order different colors of tape. So I just cut off a little bit, and then we'll wrap that around my ends so that my fabric covering doesn't continue to fray up the line there. Now you're going to take your socket, and black, which is your hot wire, which in my case is this one, is going to connect to brass. You have 2 screws on here. You have a brass and you have a silver or chrome. I don't know. Anyway, black goes to brass, neutral goes to chrome. That's really important. So what you want to do is take your your black wire. I like to twist these copper cords up a little bit, make a U shape, and just set it right on your brass wire. Kind of pinch the ends together, and then take your screwdriver and tighten that screw down. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing for your neutral wire. Twist up your coppers, make a little U, slide that right over your neutral, screw that down. Okay, now you can pull your wire at the base to get this to kind of get up in there as much as it needs to. And then you'll just reposition the socket on there, and you're good to go. Then figure out how long you want your cord, and you can cut this off at the desired length, and you're going to wire your plug in the exact same way if it's not already wired up for a plug. Okay, so as far as the install on this goes, yes, I know this is a board. I actually install these like this in my house. I like to install this and then just lean this board up wherever I want it. So I have one on either side of my bed. I use them in my office. It allows me to move the light around, and that works out for me great. But of course, you can also swing this puppy left and right. So what I do is, normally this is fully detached, and I put the base, the flange on first, and I screw that in. It's very hard to screw this in if the lamp is all put together. So I will unscrew this from this little piece back, this little nipple back. No funny comments, please. That's what it's called. But at any rate, and then I will just take this whole piece and screw it on. And as you're turning it around, you just want to keep your cord in one hand and just keep wrapping it around as you go, and then there you go. So that allows you to have exactly as much tightness and tension as you need, and then you've got your cord here that you can just plug into any standard outlet. Let me know if you guys are creating these. I'd love to see pictures of what you're putting together. And until next time, I'm Elizabeth Lyons. Thanks so much for joining me.